Mike Norvell in his second season at Florida State trying to erase 3-6, appearing at his first ACC kickoff. Of course, the last one was wiped out by the pandemic. Welcome to the Voice of College Football, Florida State. We go live with you each and every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. We hope you'll stop by. Best discussion, debate, and analysis, but also the best interaction that you will see with us on our Florida State Live show. Again, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Tell your friends, bring everybody in to talk Florida State football on Wednesdays. Okay, you can watch Mike Norvell's news conference and also the side chat with the reporters. It's about 50 minutes. I try to review these conversations and then look for what really matters, because Mike Norvell spit out a lot of coach speak. And that's not an indictment on Mike Norvell. Every coach speaks a lot of coach speaks. That's the nature of the job, and that's why it's called coach speak. They don't want to tell us too much. But in reading between the lines, reading Mike Norvell's facial expressions and what he really focused on and what he tried to bring across that was a little bit outside of the typical rhetoric, this is what I came up with. That the pass rush last season was awful. Okay, Jermaine Johnson is being pushed hard to be an elite pass rusher, to be the best pass rusher on the team, that he's got the ability coming from Georgia, that he's a tremendous player, tremendous upside. This is his last season. So Mike Norvell emphasized a number of times, we got Jermaine Johnson for one season, meaning we got to get a lot out of him. We don't want him coming in here being an average player, taking a roster spot, scholarship, and gone. No, we need a big impact from him. There's a reason that Mike Norvell brought 3 players, and Jermaine Johnson was one of them, to ACC kickoff, and all 3 players are transfer players. I think that says a lot about Mike Norvell and the program he took over. So they are pushing Jermaine Johnson hard. Mike Norvell made a point of that a number of times. And he told him when he transferred in, we're going to be tough on you. We need you to be a leader. We need you to be a force on the defensive side. All right, he loves the quarterbacks. He brought 2 of them with him, Mackenzie Milton and Jordan Travis. 2 very different players and also 2 very different experiences thus far, and we will talk about that here. Mike Norvell likes that they push each other. He likes that they both are hard workers. We hear those sorts of things all the time. Okay, the hyperbole with Mackenzie Milton was a bit much. And as soon as it was announced that Mackenzie Milton had transferred to Florida State, I thought, slam dunk, this is a great thing. If he's able to reach his heights of 2017 and 18, of course, then he's one of the top 10 or 12 quarterbacks in the nation, and Florida State has immediately solved an issue of their quarterback situation going back to 2017, 2016. It's not been a good position at Florida State, and Mackenzie Milton instantly makes it much better. But even if he can't, even if he's 75% of the player, he's going to be a better quarterback than anybody they've got. Plus, he's a leader. He's a winner. He brings that attitude and that experience of success to Florida State. None of the players on this roster have succeeded. They don't know success. So with Mackenzie Milton, the hyperbole I'm speaking of with Mike Norvell is calling him the ultimate competitor. Okay, there can only be one out there, so that's a bit much. Ultimate competitor, and that when Mike Norvell was at Memphis taking on Mackenzie Milton-led UCF teams, that they played some of the greatest games in college football history. I know they were really good games. They were shootouts. They were fun. Greatest games in college football history. Okay. All right. Leadership. He competes. He understands the process of preparing for games and preparing himself to play. And again, the infusion of the experience of success, not just the experience, but the experience of success is something Mackenzie Milton brings that pretty much nobody else has. Jermaine Johnson at Georgia to a certain extent, but not that star power with the success of having been integral to the success at UCF is huge, obviously. Mike Norvell talked about college football needing the state of Florida. He doesn't talk in any type of animosity toward Manny Diaz and Miami, although that was brought up, or Florida. Of course, Mike Norvell has yet to play against Clemson or against Florida. They got whipped 52-10 to Miami. But he talked about the tremendous opportunity in the state of Florida because of the great talent, the great passion for the sport, the great high school players, that it's an important state and college football needs Florida. He made no excuses about the 3-6 record, didn't mention 3-6, of course, made no excuses about the failures and the lack of success of 2020. He could have. The one thing that he threw in there a number of times was we've had the youngest team in college football. What I heard out of Mike Norvell that really speaks to the situation he took over from Willie Taggart and before him Jimbo Fisher, but most recently Willie Taggart, is that they had to develop trust. He didn't say it. It's not obvious, but that he basically is saying we had to develop trust. We didn't have trust in the locker room. I thought that was key. And the way he phrased it and the way he talked about it was he did not bash the team, the culture, his predecessors in any way, but I think there's an underlying communication there that he didn't inherit the best situation in the world. Interesting comments he made about Jordan Travis as well as Mackenzie Milton, and even maybe more revealing that he is pushing Jordan Travis out there to be a leader, that he needs to be a vocal leader, that he needs to kind of bow his chest and get out there as a leader. He talked about the challenges Jordan Travis had in having very little experience with the first unit or with anybody, being the starting quarterback at Florida State going into the Georgia Tech game. And he had very little reps at that point. So the offseason growth, development, and the confidence, and then he said, he made a note of, I just kind of sat back and watched him at the podium today and saw kind of a different guy, a more developed, more polished, just more confident, more secure and assured individual. And I was impressed with Jordan Travis at the mic, certainly. I thought he was the best spoken of the three. And Mike Norvell made it a point to talk about his passion, Jordan Travis's passion and his spirit. That's the only time he used that word. Okay, and then finally, again, with the youngest team in college football, apparently, I haven't run the numbers, but the youngest team in college football in 2020, I would expect it's not necessarily the youngest this year, but still has not succeeded. These guys have never succeeded on a college football field. That he is, I thought this was pretty much wraps it up in regards to looking for leaders and competitors. He didn't see competitors on this team, guys that wanted to compete, that wanted to show that they were the best and would lead the rest of the group. Lead the rest of the group when the coaches aren't around. The coaches can't be on the field during the game. The coaches can't be there in the summer. That he needed leaders to step up, and competition breeds success. Competition breeds a better level of play, and Mike Norvell is certainly looking for that. Florida State coming off 3-6. Try not to say it too many more times here at the Voice of College Football, FSU. Your thoughts about Florida State. We are just about 5 weeks away from Notre Dame on Labor Day night. That will be fascinating. Please leave your comments down below. Like the video. Share the videos out on social media. If you enjoy the content, we are going to thrive and succeed here at the Voice of College Football based on your support. And you can do that in so many ways. But right now, share the videos out on social media. Subscribe right here. Hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live, which is, again, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, most of the time, and when we drop new content right here at the Voice of College Football, FSU.